And one of the bits of research you pulled in was, I think it was from Johns Hopkins, where they found animistic tendencies increasing post psychedelic experience. So you'd said like believing there was a lively or animal or living quality to insects, fungi, plants, objects. So talk a little bit about like what's happening there. And maybe my thought was like, if that's the effect of these experiences, could that potentially help induce a different relation to our natural world and the ways in which we view ourselves within it?
Yeah, so the research definitely points toward the idea that psychedelics give people a set, move people towards a more kind of panpsychist perspective, which means that consciousness is an integral part of matter, right? So that in a sense the world is in some sense alive and conscious, which I believe it is, and I would consider myself a panpsychist. Um, Now, why that's so important is that I think the underlying roots of the ecological crisis are in scientific materialism and physicalism. So the actual metaphysical idea that the only thing that's real is matter, the things you can touch, which is a remnant of Descartes and Hobbes and Enlightenment thinking that we're still very much is the dominant theory of what is real in Western culture, particularly. And so from that perspective, like rampant consumerism and environmental destruction makes perfect sense because the world's not alive. It's just a dead machine that's there to fulfill our needs. And what it misses out is the aliveness and interconnectedness of all things. So that is the underlying aspect of it. And you know, when I spoke to Michael Pollan for the book, you know, he's quite sort of he's a cautious guy and he's quite sort of scientifically minded. But it was interesting because he was like, look, even if the world isn't alive, it would probably be better for the environment if we acted as though it was, right? So
Mhm.
regardless of whether or not we buy or subscribe to a view of reality that brings consciousness into matter, it would lead to different behavior.